Jack Parsons and the Babalon working. Jack Parsons was born Marvel Whiteside Parsons on October 2nd, 1914 in Los Angeles, California. He came from a well-to-do family, but they lost their shirts during the stock market crash of 1929. Because of this misfortune, Jack had to drop out of his university course at Stanford. He only met his father once. His mother divorced him when she found out he'd been visiting prostitutes. She wasn't having it. That's why he became Jack. His father was Marvel too, and his mother couldn't bear to speak or hear the name. Although not officially academically qualified, Parsons was a bona fide genius and pioneered the field of rocket research and jet propulsion technology. A company founded by Parsons, JPL, Jet Propulsion Lab, is basically what morphed into what we now know as NASA. He was the father of space travel, and without his beautiful, rebellious, maverick mind, there would not have been that one small step for a man, or the giant leap for mankind. Parsons' life was fraught with government interference and constant accusations of nefarious shit like spying for the Nazis, being a communist, spying for the Israeli government, and they even had a beef with his thelemic sex life, which they saw as a permissive, hedonistic lifestyle and deeply problematic for them. These false accusations culminated in his clearance to work on government projects being revoked, and he was even removed from his own company, and he never worked directly in the field of his passion, rocketry, again. Instead, he became an expert witness in explosives for police and military investigations and trials, and a consultant for related industries. He was seen as one of the premier experts in this field. Parsons, always eager to explore the unconventional, became involved in the Thelema religion, founded by English occultist godfather Aleister Crowley. Parsons ended up buying the Agape Lodge in 1942, the US HQ of the OTO, Ordo Templi Orientis, which Crowley was the head of also. A man whose name you almost certainly recognize, Lafayette Ronald Hubbard, crash-landed in Jack Parsons' life around 1945. LRH moved into the lodge and began to document Jack's epic sex magic rituals, the Babalon working. When LRH started banging Jack's girlfriend Sarah, who happened to be his ex-wife's younger sister, Jack was uncharacteristically miffed, despite the polyamorous lifestyle of the Thelemites. He was jealous and decided he needed to find the perfect woman for himself, and he was going to use ritual magic to do it. He began in earnest, fusing together all manner of occult practices, witchcraft, voodoo, Enochian rituals, even classical music was in there too, creating chaotic black magic rituals. Soon after he began, paranormal events started to happen in the lodge. Poltergeist activity, disembodied voices, even wailing, screaming banshees. The banshee incident haunted Jack's lifelong best friend, Ed Foreman, for the rest of his life. Jack's goal was to invoke the earthly incarnation of the Thelemic goddess Babalon, the Scarlet Woman, to be his perfect girl. During all these rituals, LRH sat in a corner scribbling furiously in his notebook, recording the deets of Jack's workings, including him ejaculating onto Enochian magical tablets, which he figured might help with the incarnation of the goddess in human form. Yeah. Jack thought that LRH had strong psychic powers and that he would easily notice if there was any magical shit going on. Suddenly, in February 1946, Parsons took LRH to the Mojave Desert and performed yet another ritual, then announced that it was over. The Babalon working was complete. When they returned to the Agape Lodge, a striking red-headed woman with huge scarlet lips and fiery red hair was there. She had come to stay for a while. She was a former naval recruit who had been assigned to the map room of a Navy Chief of Staff in Washington, D.C. It wasn't long before she went AWOL and was discharged. Currently, she was an unemployed artist and illustrator. The two of them began immediately performing sex magic rituals together, while LRH sat in the corner again, taking down notes, recording all the details of these new rituals. Then Jack had an even wilder, crazier idea than the Babalon working. He figured that somehow he and LRH could use ritual magic to impregnate a woman with an immaculately conceived child, which would be born 9 months later to some woman somewhere on the planet. This child would be the Messiah of Thelema, a Crowley Jesus. Jack's idea for this latest crazy fucking magic trick was inspired by the novel Moonchild, written by Aleister Crowley in 1917 and first published in 1929. The plot revolves around a war between two groups, practitioners of black magic and white magic, where the good guys are attempting to make the human race better, stronger, by having a human woman give birth to a homunculus, which is a tiny wee fully formed human. This is trippy shit. Jack Parsons died tragically in an explosion at his home laboratory, where he made special effects for Hollywood movies, on June 17, 1952. Some say it was an horrific accident. Some say it was suicide. Some say it was murder. I hope you enjoyed this reel. I'll be expanding on my Crowley and Parsons obsessions in a series of full-length episodes on Aleister Crowley, Thelema in America, Jack Parsons, the Babalon working, and all the shenanigans they both got up to in their lives. See you in the next reel.